Welcome back, everyone, to another edition of Hurricanes Unfiltered Live. We are live in the building. This is episode number 6 of Hurricanes Unfiltered Live. If you are in the room, please do hit the like button. Please leave a comment. Let me know you are here to talk about this game. As I put in the image, the phone lines will be open tonight. So if people want to talk about whatever's been going on with the Miami Hurricanes, I will be putting the link out probably about 20 minutes in or so after I get through my initial commentary of everything that's happened in the past few days with the University of Miami, with the football team winning 41-7 against North Carolina State, moving up to number 14 in the AP. The CFP is released tomorrow night. I'm definitely hoping to see a higher jump in the CFP because, as you know, last week we were ranked 16th in the AP and we were ranked 15th in the actual CFP. So now that we moved up 2 spots in the CFP in the AP, to where we move up 2 spots or more in the CFP. I do hope that we see the committee decide to actually start looking at, I don't know, head-to-head games, similar wins over similar common opponents. As you all know, we beat Notre Dame. We beat NC State worse than Notre Dame did. We beat Florida State, and Alabama lost, like got their ass kicked by Florida State. So you hope that these things really start coming into play as we get down, go down the stretch of this run for a chance to make the playoffs. I think it's something that might not appear right now, but when you're sitting in a room making a decision and you're trying to be above board and actually have some level of ethics and integrity, you can only hope that the ethics and integrity trump all, and that they acknowledge finally that, look, head-to-head wins actually matter. Head-to-head wins matter. And if the Miami Hurricanes do to Pittsburgh, first starting this weekend in Virginia Tech, but if they do to Virginia Tech and Pittsburgh what they did to NC State, they're gonna win. They're gonna win on Saturday by 40, and they're gonna crush Pittsburgh as well. And then at that point, you leave. You put your cards on the table. People can come back and say, "Oh, you shouldn't have lost to SMU. You shouldn't have lost this. You shouldn't have lost." Hold everyone to that same standard. Hold everybody to that same standard, and off the rip, you have to look at a head-to-head win, and there's no logical reasoning whatsoever that a Notre Dame team that's largely played nothing but an ACC schedule could make the playoffs ahead of Miami. And I'm not saying Notre Dame shouldn't make the playoffs, by the way. I don't think Alabama should make the playoffs. You can't lose to a 5-4 team, get blown out. I mean, blown out as a favorite. Miami lost. Miami lost by 3, and Miami lost by 6 in overtime to both solid teams. I think we know that Florida State's not a solid team. They're an up and down team this year. They started off strong, went into a funk, and they've played well the last couple of weeks. Good for them. Good for them. But I'm sorry, we still beat them, and Alabama still lost to them. And that has to be acknowledged. I mean, hey, Auburn, do us all a favor. Beat Alabama on your home field this year. Do us all a favor. Do us all the favor. I mean, heck, Notre Dame, whoever the heck Notre Dame is playing, I don't know who Notre Dame has left on their schedule. Do us a favor. The one thing I do have concerns about is if Notre Dame does lose, does that hurt Miami at the same time? Because now they have a worse record. Now you don't have to consider the head-to-head thing, but now you got to deal with freaking BYU and Utah and Vanderbilt. But BYU and Utah, who are vastly overranked, Utah specifically, BYU's got one loss. Even though they got smoked in their one loss, they got one loss. Utah's lost twice. And if I recall, they got beat down in one of those 2 losses. So we got to have some level of consistency with how this all goes. Utah's schedule 34-10 on their home field to Texas Tech. They got smoked at home. At least BYU's loss to Texas Tech was on the road, and they lost to BYU. So why are they ranked so close to BYU? Why are they ahead of Miami? Vanderbilt, Vanderbilt lost to Alabama. Again, Alabama loses to Florida State. So what does that mean for Vanderbilt that you lost to Alabama? It means that you you lost to a team that lost to Florida State. Alabama has struggled all season long in their games. Welcome aboard, Duke. They've struggled all season long in their games, and they've had there's been nothing that's been really. I mean, they maybe have a blowout against Wisconsin, but outside of that, I mean, you look at their games. 24-21 versus Georgia. Okay, Vanderbilt. That game was not a 30-14 game. If you watched it, the game was close in the fourth quarter. Missouri 27-24. Tennessee, that 37-20 again, another game that wasn't as wide as the margin. South Carolina, they were down 22-14 in the final 6 minutes. LSU 20-9, and then you lose to Oklahoma on your home field. BYU has an OT win at Arizona. Okay. Is that supposed to excite me? Arizona, okay, they're 7-3, and they lost by 25 to Iowa State. They lost to BYU, and then they lost against Houston. They've got no wins over anybody. Their schedule is Hawaii, Weber State, Kansas State, Oklahoma State, Colorado, Kansas, and Cincinnati. They have a win over Cincinnati. I mean, like, if that's the value of a win by BYU, like, they don't have very many that are of substance to me. And we will find out more about everything tomorrow. We'll see where we fall. Georgia Tech can be ranked behind us, but I don't think that matters right now because Georgia Tech being ranked behind us doesn't really do anything because they're ahead of us when it comes to getting into the college. Oh, R6. If that's okay, then say their wins are suspect. Can we grab the baby, please? I'm sorry, it's my son crying. Say then they're suspect then, because most of these teams, like, you can go through most of these teams. Their wins are large. I mean, Georgia Tech almost lost to Boston College, but at the same time, in that game, they're still ahead of Miami in conference standings. Georgia Tech falling behind Miami doesn't matter, though. It's like, as long as they don't lose to Pittsburgh, they're fine. And I don't know right now. I have no idea what the breakdown is for making the playoff, making the ACC championship. I really don't know. It'll come into a better picture this Saturday because I'm not going to go through all those scenarios and all those possibilities. Georgia Tech ain't beat nobody. They beat Colorado by 7. They beat Gardner-Webb. They beat a 5-5 Clemson. They beat Temple, Wake Forest. Again, they should have lost. Virginia Tech, Duke, a game that they was close in the fourth quarter. They were trailing, if I recall. Syracuse, NC State, they get whipped by, and Boston College. I mean, it sucks. This is the year I wanted to play Georgia Tech. Colorado stinks. I mean, and they struggled in that game. Colorado stinks, and they struggled in that game. I just don't want to. It's one of those years where I wish we did play Georgia Tech in the regular season because we would have gotten them hopefully on our home field this year because we played them last year on the road. It's kind of ridiculous, honestly, at this point, with what's going on, because you go through most of these teams. I mean, Texas Tech. Let's look at who their non-conference schedule is. I want you all to understand this. Listen to their non-conference schedule. This is Texas Tech, Arkansas, Pine Bluff, Kent State, and Oregon State. That is utter freaking garbage. That's garbage. And then they played Utah and BYU. I mean, that's their schedule. So Miami needs Georgia Tech, Duke, and Virginia to all lose a conference game. All of them. I apologize for the noise in the background. My son's having his diaper changed. We played Pittsburgh. SMU, we need Louisville. Does SMU have another AC? They play Louisville and at Cal. I mean, they could reasonably lose both those games. Yeah, SMU could lose both those games potentially because those are actually two strong opponents against them. You know, I mean, we've seen that SMU is very beatable, and we play Pitt. So I guess if all of those things happen, we only need most. We only need three of them to happen, not all four, right? Three of them need to happen. You know, but Louisville beats SMU, then that helps us now. So they play them this weekend. But yeah, thanks for that, K Dub. Appreciate you. All these things are possible. I think we've seen it all over the country. All of these possibilities exist, and here we are. Unfortunately, we don't play Virginia. We don't play Georgia Tech. We played Pitt, and we blew it versus SMU. Those are the four teams that are sitting right ahead of us right now. We control our destiny with Pittsburgh. Beat them, you've done your job. You win your next two, you've done your job. That leaves us needing Virginia, Virginia, and Georgia Tech. Two of those three to lose. And that's entirely possible. It's entirely possible. You know, I will say this: if they don't, Cuban Kane, we gotta stop that mentality. The problem we have with that mentality is if we don't lose these dumb games. Well, all these teams have lost dumb games. All of them have lost dumb games, but they're not held to the same standard of loss. Alabama got smoked by Florida State. Are they not ever going to be held to a standard? It's embarrassing, bro. It's embarrassing that they do not get held to a standard of having to win games. They lost to a shitty Florida State team. Badly. Utah has beaten nobody. They got smoked on their home field. Alabama just lost to Oklahoma in a game that they outgained them by 200 yards because they kept turning the ball over. Again, you're not held to a standard. Remember, the committee said Miami's offense is inconsistent. Well, Alabama's is more inconsistent. In fact, Alabama's offense statistically is worse in scoring and yardage. So we have no consistency, and their wins against their mid-tier conference opponents. I mean, they beat Georgia. Great. I think Georgia's a mid-tier level team too. There's not a great team in college football. No, I don't know I don't believe in the SEC. How many bowl games did the SEC win last year? I'll ask. Was it how many? How many did the Big Ten win last year? How many? One? Like, this is what we need to start seeing. If we see tomorrow that Miami gets jumped up a couple spots, 3 spots, 4 spots, now you're seeing something, because if you see that, I mean, Georgia beat a bad Texas team. I think Texas stinks. And Florida beat Texas, and Florida gave Georgia all the problems they could have. And then you did a clearly caught ball ruled incomplete, like, to survive that. Okay, but some of these teams that were in the bowl were in the playoffs. Who played in the national championship last year again? Ohio State and Notre Dame. Who played in the Final Four last year? I don't remember, so I'm asking you seriously. CFP 24 bracket. Who played in the Final Four? The semis. Ohio State and Texas, Penn State and Notre Dame. So you had 2 Big Ten teams, an independent, and 1 SEC school. The SEC school that lost twice to Georgia. Like, if you want to look at it again, let's go look a little bit further. You only had 2 teams in the final 8 from the SEC. So that great conference lost to an independent and lost to a Big Ten school. The whole concept of this. Let's look at the first round. Ohio State smashes Tennessee. It happened. So I don't hold anything with the SEC as credible. I think they suck. Indiana's going to get glazed for beating Penn State. I'm sorry. Oregon's getting glazed for beating Penn State. Penn State. That's their only win. I'm sorry. Iowa, a team that has never had an offense. They're getting hyped over beating Iowa and Penn State and lost on their home field to Indiana. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Yes, and Arizona State should have beat Texas last year too, Duke. I agree with that. They should have beat them. I mean, I'm just looking right here at the playoffs. The mighty SEC didn't go nowhere. Respect is based on the season that you're in, not in the seasons of the past. That's the problem. That's why they shouldn't rank anybody until week 6. Until week 6, no one should get ranked. Nobody. Let's see what everyone's done on paper up until now. And remember, we were there. We all knew who should have been ranked number 1. But because they were not ranked number 2 or 3 when the season started, Miami wasn't ranked number 1. Miami was the number 1 team in the country through 5 weeks of football. And everybody knows it. And everybody knows it. There's no question about it. Everybody knew that last year, Miami was the number 1 team in the country. Well, this year, through 5 weeks of the season. Period. Heck, there are people that could argue that Miami was the number 1 team in the country through 10 weeks of the season last year with Cam Ward at 9-0. They don't want to give him the credit. That's fine. But the data is the data. The data is the data. South Carolina is 3-7. 3-7 and led Texas A&M 30-3. 30-3 at halftime. And if it was not for really 2 stupid, 1 awful play on 4th and 12 to start the second half, and just a god-awful decision by Beamer to have a 250-pound quarterback on 4th and 1 from the 30 and have him hand it off out of the gun, you're looking at a different result. You're looking at Texas A&M having lost to a 3-7, 4-6 team. I don't want to hear how great the SEC is. I'm sick and tired of hearing how great the SEC is. Let's go look. You want to know who Tennessee beat? Nobody. But this is what's going on right now. And I'm not here to freaking I'm not a fanboy. There are plenty of times where I'm a truth teller when it comes to stuff like this. I covered this team since I've covered this team. I covered this team for upwards of 10 years. And every year I was telling fans, this is a 6-6 or a 7-5 team, period. And people would tell me I'm a fucking idiot over and over and over again. Over and over and over again, I was told that I'm an idiot. I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't know any. No, I'm there every day and I see what's going on internally. I see that these guys are not messing with each other, that there's problems inside, and they're not going to win. They're not going to win. And the coaching was so goddamn bad that there was no way they were going to win. So I've seen it all. This team I'm seeing right now is different. They lost. It happens. Oklahoma has a loss to Texas, 23-6. 23-6. They're actually 3-2. 3-2 in their last 5 games. 3-2. And they're going to get credit for beating Tennessee and Alabama. Lost to Ole Miss, beat South Carolina, got whipped by Texas. Maybe they would, maybe they wouldn't, Duke. I don't believe in the SEC teams. I'm just being real. Because you know what? Miami beat a team named Florida, and Florida whipped them, and Florida destroyed Texas. And Texas beat Oklahoma. We can do that math. We can do the math. We can do it all. And that's my problem. I can show you a team that Miami beat that has given every SEC team problems, except for Kentucky. Florida is 3-7 right now. They lost to Georgia by 4. It was a 4-point game that turned into a 31. Was it 30-31-20? So 24-20. Yeah. 24-20. Lost by 4 to Georgia. They lost this past weekend? They lost by nothing. Who they play this past? Ole Miss. 34-24. That game was a 1-score game in the fourth. They led the game, I believe, in the fourth quarter. They led in the fourth. They were up 24-20 going into the fourth quarter at Ole Miss. At Ole Miss. Florida has given these teams fits. All these great SEC squads. I mean, except for Kentucky, they've given them headaches. LSU 20-10. I mean, they've been tough every single week to pretty much everybody outside of us in Kentucky. We all know that we blew their asses out. We were up 20-0. That referee pulled the touchdown off the board for us. DJ Lagway's been horrendous. And late in games, that guy's flipping terrible. I watched the game against Ole Miss. Cheering for Florida, hoping they'd beat Ole Miss. And Florida, who lost South Florida by 2, we beat South Florida by 37. Florida could be 7-3 right now. They could 6-4, 7-3. They could very well be that. But this crap that I get to, I mean, it's ridiculous, man. That said, we got a big win. All that said, we got a big win. I mean, you couldn't have asked for more than we got this past week against NC State. Like, if you had to write it, script it out, we got I mean, I said 42-20, 42-21. Never in my mind did I believe that Miami's defense would completely dominate NC State like that. And I don't think anyone really believed that Miami's defense would totally dominate NC State like that. The fact that they did that shows you the level that they're at, because they've done that a lot this year. They've done that a lot. They were dominant. They didn't get the ball past the 50-yard line in the first 3 quarters. I believe, or the 40. I mean, I'm not sure. Maybe it's the 50 or the 40. Keontae Scott's likely out for the year. Just glad you brought him up. He's likely out for the year. Mark Fletcher's looking good. Don't count on it. CJ Daniels, they said, could have played this past weekend, but he didn't get enough reps. He was ready. Expect him to play this weekend against Virginia Tech. Who else? There's other guys they mentioned. But yeah, that the Keontae Scott injury sucks. That does suck. That's one's a difficult pill to swallow. And then, but they played great this weekend. I mean, we can't complain when they play great. You know, we can't complain when they play great. And that's the thing that I think a lot of Hurricanes fans, like, I'm seeing posts on the video. I think there's a lot of things that Hurricanes fans can't let go of. This team has won 10 games twice in 20 years. Winning 10 games still matters here. It's how you build the consistency. That's how you return the program. I am not a fan of. I'm sorry. I'll be honest, that sounds weird, but if we had to pick between Scott and Fletcher or in or out, I would pick Fletcher out. Yeah, I would pick Fletcher out. And that's easy. That one's easy. I want Scott to play, but if he can't play, he can't play. Yeah. But I'm not a fan of Cristobal. I'm not going to ever admit that I'm a fan of Cristobal. I was a big fan of his 20 years ago. But I'm not a fan of his as a head coach. I don't. Scott and Fletcher in or out. Oh, you mean both? Oh, out. Then out. Yeah, I would say out because then Pringle ain't playing. And then where our offenses looks bland and boring because we have no outside speed, which I'll get into a little bit more tonight after listening to the press conference from Shannon Dawson, which was utterly absurd. But yeah, let's like I said, I'm not a big fan of Cristobal's. I don't like the way he coaches games. I'm not a fan of it. He's a tremendous recruiter. Great. I think a lot of people can be tremendous recruiters when you cut checks. Haynes have flipped over like 6 guys or 6 or 7 recruits in the last week and a half, which I will do a video on just to go over that a little bit. But yeah, that's what he does well. That's what he does well. You know, and I agree with you, R6, completely. That's what he does well. But again, I'm not a fan of it. But at the same time, this team had won 10 games once, dating back to 2005 before last year. Once. That was the Rick season where we went 10-0 and then lost 3 straight in 2017. We went 10 last year. I wanted 11. I was disappointed when Cam Ward didn't play the second half. I was disappointed that Restrepo didn't play at all. Why? Because I thought 11 wins mattered. I still think it matters because you're still building this program. You want to build the program to the point where it doesn't matter how bad your coaching is because your players are so damn good that they can overcome how bad it can be. This team wasn't good enough in terms of talent level to overcome how bad it could be. Like, it wasn't good enough. They don't have enough talent to overcome the brutal decisions. And I don't know, maybe there's no team that could overcome some of these decisions. Maybe there isn't a team in the country that could overcome the decisions that we've had to watch against SMU and against Louisville. Maybe there isn't one. I don't know. But you have to appreciate winning 10 games. And when I see comments, when I see comments in some of my videos saying I'm not even bothering, nothing to talk, there's nothing to talk about till next year. Well, that's the typical Hurricane fan. And that's the fan that I grew up. That's the typical Miami Hurricanes fan that bails when Miami loses a game or loses a couple games. Even though for the last 20 years, we've been a 500 program. And yes, R6, 11 wins matters because next year you're being ranked based on what you did the year before, as we all know. So if we had won 11 games last year and maybe we start the season not ranked number 5. Maybe we're number 5 in the country when the season starts. Maybe we've built in that respect that some of y'all are talking about because we won 11 games. No, but instead we lost 3 of our last 4, including a bowl game. And we didn't have a win over a ranked team in the country. And that would have been one. That would have been one. So those things matter. And even if we don't make the playoffs this year, it does matter. Oh, yeah, R6, I agree with you. I agree with you. And that's why I always talk about these types of things in the polls and all that stuff, because these polls directly influence the CFP. Winning a bowl game last year, go to 11-2, influences your ranking the next season. Absolutely does. Because I think we finished, last year ranked 18th? So this year we came in ranked 10th. If we finished last year, instead of being ranked 18th, we're ranked 12th or 10th, we're probably ranked in the top 5 this year, top 6 coming into the season. More than likely. So we do this to ourselves. I want to win the rest of the games. And when I hear fans say, there's nothing to talk about, well, that's your call. That's on you. But when I look at a stadium, like I looked at last week against NC State, look, are they a great team? Heck, are they even a good team? I don't even know. They have a good offense. They're an inconsistent team. Their defense is suspect. We played multiple teams with suspect defenses, and we couldn't score on them. We struggled to score. We did not struggle to score on NC State because we changed it up a little bit, despite what Shannon Dawson will tell you. Despite what Shannon Dawson said today in his press conference, we changed it up. We changed it up. And one of those changes was having a running back who can run, who can hit the edges, who's fast, who hits holes quickly. And yes, you did run a couple of trick plays. You were 1 of 2 on them, as he said in his press conference, which I'll get into in a second. But you got to win out, man. We got to win out, period. And when I look at that stadium last week, I see 25,000 empty seats. That place was empty last week, folks. There were chunks of seats completely empty, just sections. That's embarrassing. You want people to come to school here. You want your program to get better, and you don't support them. And I'm not saying it's the people in this chat. I'm saying right now there are plenty of Hurricanes fans who never support their team. I got no problem if you don't like going to games. You want to know what I'm going to say to that? I got no problem. If you don't like going to games, I don't care. Don't buy tickets and then not go. That's the problem that happens. Don't buy tickets and then not go. Word on the street was that Cam wanted to play the whole bowl game, but the coaching staff told him. Well, they found out when we lost the freaking game, Pinellas Kane. They found out he couldn't leave a freaking pig to slop. That's why I know he'll never play another meaningful down here. That's why I know he'll never play another meaningful down here. And I'm listening to some people say they should start Emory Williams next year. You crazy? You go ahead and start Emory Williams next year. This team is 7-5 at best, 6-6. Well, it's not acceptable for a team like Miami. Miami's been a 500 program for 20 seasons. Like, I think we gotta recognize reality. We're a 500 program who's been coached poorly for 20 years. For 20 years. The end of Larry Coker was a disaster. Shannon, a disaster. That guy doesn't know what, he didn't know his ass from his dick. I mean, my God. Golden, a freaking disaster. Like, where do you find these guys? I had no problem with Coker. I thought Coker was a very nice person. Shannon was not a nice person, and he sucked. Like, you can get away with being trash if you're nice to people. He wasn't nice to people. He wasn't even nice to his own kid who played for us at center, if you remember. Like, he wasn't nice to anybody. Golden, this guy wouldn't fire his brother-in-law, Coach Nodi. I mean, for Christ's sakes. You know, wouldn't fire him. And instead helped get himself fired by refusing to get rid of this bum. Why was he even hired to begin with? And then we get Rick. I didn't want Rick either. A guy that perpetually loses big games. That's what he did here too. One good year and the rest was shit. Then you get Manny Diaz. This motherfucker loses to FIU. He loses to FIU. Should have been fired that day in the damn locker room. You losing to FIU. Despite the fact we got top 15 talent, because that's what the recruiting charts say. We got top 15 players literally every year for 20 years. Oh, beast. Hetherman would absolutely be. You want to know why he'd be a better head coach? Because he's a defensive coach. And he would say, take care of your job, Shannon. Do your job. Do your job. I don't think Dawson's a bad coach. I think he's limited in what he's allowed to do. I don't think he's a bad coach because we just saw what happened when he opened it up just a little bit. Just a little bit, it got opened. And it still hasn't been opened enough. But hell, winning 10 games is the first thing. And we can win 10 games back-to-back seasons. Man, people need to go to these games, bro. I'm gonna give you this a little information you may not be aware of, and I'm not sure because I'm not there, but they put out some ticket sales thing that's the most tickets that we've sold since 2002. I'll tell you this: ticket sales don't mean shit if people aren't sitting in the seats. People ain't sitting in the seats. I don't give a shit how many tickets you sell. I don't care how many tickets you sell if people aren't going to your games. Like when I look at, for example, like when you mentioned Hetherman, yeah, Hetherman would be a much better head coach because he'd get out the way and tell his man to do his job. So he would tell his damn guy he would tell his OC, do your job. Like we can look at right here. You want to know how many people they put in the building? Florida, the Florida Gators put in 89,451 against Long Island. LIU, they put in 89,000 people. Now, hey, R6, you could get fired mid-season for fighting your job, fighting your boss. How many of you go to work and fight your boss? Let's not R6. Let's not. You go to work and fight with your boss. You can have conversation with your boss, but I don't know that you can fight with your boss and keep your job. South Florida, 90,000 people. Texas, mind you, against Texas, they're now they were at that point 1-3. 90,700. Okay, I understand. You mean fight for what he thinks. But if his boss says, no, we're not doing that, He can't go and do that, unfortunately, because they're not even going to work on it with practice. They're not even going to work on this stuff in practice. Well, again, you can fight all day. You can argue your case. I argue my case every day with my employer on certain topics. It doesn't mean that I can go do it if they say no. If Cristobal says no, okay, and maybe he will very well move on. He'll probably get fired, by the way. He's probably going to get fired at the end of the season because Mario has to blame somebody for the offensive failures early on. He has to blame them. He has to blame somebody. And he's not going to blame himself. So he's going to blame Shannon Dawson for those failures. Florida against so Florida versus Texas, when they were 1-3, they brought in over 90,000 people. Mississippi State, 90,000. Like, this is what I'm talking about. You're playing with this bum ass team, and you're putting in 90,000 people in the building against Mississippi State. Well, yeah, he's got 3, and one of them was who were they? It was Josh Gaddis, who coached the running back team at Michigan. Who was the one before Dawson? I don't remember, honestly. I don't remember. I don't. But the claim, our average was over 50,000. Like, it's like, okay, yeah, all right, there you go, another one. Like, end of the day, you gotta you need to win 11 games. People need to go to the game. There are no home games left, so that's it for this season. But when recruits are looking in that building and it's like, damn, this team is 7-2 and there's freaking 45,000 people here. But I promise you, they go up to they go to Alabama's game next week against Eastern Illinois Panthers. I mean, seriously here, there will be 90,000 people probably at that game. More than likely, they'll have that place full against some trash can U. Against Oklahoma last week, they had 100,000 people in the building. And they will probably have 100,000 people against Eastern Illinois. But Miami has 45,000 at the game. I don't have to compare. No, I don't. I do not. That's the excuse that Miami makes for everything. The city of Miami is the shittiest fan base in the country. It's the shittiest fan base in the country. Everything Miami. The Heat, the Marlins, the Panthers, the Dolphins, the Hurricanes. It's the shittiest fan base in the country. It's the shittiest fan base in America. It's always been. It's always been. It's always been. So, yes, we could use those excuses. We have a 6 million person metro population, and you can't fill up a 65,000 seat stadium 8 times in 4 months. Okay. What about Washington? Washington what? Got rid of the Super Science. That teams relocate all the time in the NBA. I'm a former Heat season ticket holder. The Miami Heat will never have a problem selling their tickets out. They're sold out. They've been sold out for a decade. Go to the building. There's 5,000 empty seats every game. That's all I'm talking about. I'm not saying that, again, Hurricanes sold tickets this year. Good job on their marketing department. Good job with pressing people to buy tickets. It's been a shitty city for sports my entire life. Y'all remember the Miami? I don't know how many of y'all are from down here. How many of y'all are Dolphins fans? Y'all remember the Dolphins in 2000 when we played Florida? We played Florida in the Sugar Bowl. I'm driving to New Orleans for the Sugar Bowl against Florida. And I stopped in Tallahassee because I had a friend up there. I'm not blaming the university. I didn't blame the university, actually. That's not the university. I'm blaming the fans. I said the fans. I didn't say the city, the metropolitan area of South Florida. UF versus Miami. When I went to LSU, when I went to Louisiana to go watch that game, you know, I watched the Dolphins playoff game at my friend's house in Tallahassee because the fact of the matter is, we had at the time still they had blacked out games if you didn't sell the game out. If you didn't sell the game out 72 hours in advance, 72 hours in advance of game time, the game would get blacked out. Now that doesn't happen anymore. But that existed. I don't know when it stopped, honestly. But the Dolphins playoff game got blacked out locally. They were blacked out locally. So this is not a Miami Hurricanes alone thing. This is a Miami sports scene. Miami people suck at supporting anything. They suck at it, and it's embarrassing. If you don't win, they don't go. If you don't win, they don't go. The Heat tickets are sold out, and they'll be sold out. But they sure as shit ain't going. Hell, I went to playoff games and I went to finals games, and you got 3,000 empty seats, and the damn game is tipping off. It's the finals. Like, come on. It's crazy. The soccer team? Oh, that's over with. They're only supporting it because my buddy's a season ticket holder for the Inter Miami team. The only reason people go is for Messi. When Messi hangs it up, it'll go back to being a nobody there. People will cancel all their tickets. They're trying to get my buddy to spend 100% more on his season tickets for next season because he was grandfathered in on the previous pricing range and he had a 5-year plan or something like that, 3-year plan. They want him to pay double. He's like, fuck you. Bye. Done. They were supporting it early on. It was ridiculous. You could barely afford to go to a game. I don't know what it is now. It's definitely not the hot shit that it was last year. Listen to it on the radio. Okay, so a 200-mile blackout by the NFL. There you go. I watched it in Tallahassee. I was able to watch that. That was Lamar Smith busting for over 200 yards. That was the last time the Dolphins won a playoff game. So when I say the fans in South Florida suck, yeah, Miami Hurricane fans suck. Miami Dolphins fans suck. Heat fans suck. Heck, the Panthers had nobody in their building until 2 years ago. Because most people here don't know dick about hockey. Like, and mind you, I think hockey's a lot of fun to go to. Hell, the Hurricanes don't even sell at their basketball arena, for Christ's sakes. Do you know how cheap the ticket is for a Miami Hurricanes basketball game? You could buy season tickets to the Hurricanes basketball team for like $200 for all the games. $250, something like that. The women, forget it, probably $100. The men, maybe $200, $250, something like that. The place only seats 8,000 people. But for fuck's sakes, go to the games. If you're buying a ticket, go to the game, or make sure you give the ticket to somebody so that person goes to the game. So there's bodies in the building. I've always felt that. Like you really just take your tickets and eat them. Like, give them to somebody. Somebody will go. They're not bad enough. They're not a bad enough team. They're not a bad enough team that people will say, no, I ain't going to that bullshit. You know, there's teams at points where they hit, I don't know what APTTMH, yeah. I don't know what that means. I'm trying to think. I don't know. Write it out. I don't know. The Hurricanes football team is not bad enough that someone, if you said you want 2 tickets to the game, that they wouldn't take them, that you couldn't give them to somebody. They're not at that point. They were 4-6, then I'd say, yeah, maybe. It's always been front running, man. It's been front running forever. Like, you got one game. It's like you get, this year we had 8. Usually it's 6. Usually you have 6 home games, maybe 7. Well, let it be known, they didn't fill up the stadium when they were at the Orange Bowl. The only time Miami sold out games at the Orange Bowl was against Florida State, Oklahoma, Nebraska, Notre Dame, Florida. They didn't sell out games against South Carolina or, heck, I don't even know if they sold out the game against Washington where we won 59-7, or against Syracuse when we won 65-7, or whichever, if I inverted them Forgive me. Like in 01, I don't even know if we sold out those games. We had good attendance in 01 and 02. In the 90s and 80s, I mean, they might have averaged 50 to 60,000. But remember, that stadium seated almost 80. They seated almost 80 in the Orange Bowl. The Hard Rock seats 65. Did it change due to local? I'm sure it did. I'm sure certain people don't go now. But did it change the number? Not really, because what changed the number really was the fact that the team was terrible for such a long time. If we made the playoffs and we hosted, it would be sold out for sure. Oh, for sure it'd be sold out. If we were to host a playoff game and be the 8th seed, or happen to get there and then get to and maybe be a road team that get to the Orange Bowl, yeah, it would sell out. Absolutely, it would. Heck, I went to the Orange Bowl a couple years back when it was Florida State versus Georgia. I went to that game. That place wasn't sold out. The place had empty seats all over the place. Yeah, R6. It was like 50 to 60,000 at the Orange Bowl. They did 60. They said they did 63,000 this year. I was at the game last week. There was 40,000 people there. 45, maybe 45. Maybe 45. We got Virginia Tech this week. Man. And obviously we got to win. And we got to win emphatically in a dominating fashion. We cannot let those guys, stay in this game. They got beat by Florida State last week in 34-14. They suck. Again, I know Mario was glazed. By the way, I know Mario was glazing them in the press conference today. He didn't say that. He didn't see anything of note that really stood out. Now, Shannon Dawson did say some things of note. He said in the press conference that what they ran on Saturday was the same shit they run all year. The same stuff they ran all year is what they ran on Saturday, with the exception of 2 trick plays. That everything they ran was the same shit they ran. That they've run outside zone all. Well, maybe you had the wrong running back playing in that outside zone run that you ran. They really made it sound like they ran the same shit. He said we ran the same stuff that we run all year. All of a sudden it worked. Does that even make remote sense? All of a sudden it worked. Please do tell. I'd love to hear the logic behind that. It all of a sudden worked. That's interesting. I'll give you some numbers. Virginia Tech gives up over 30 points per game, 374 yards per game, 218 in the air, 156 on the ground. They are mid-tier. They're mid-tier nationally. Let me see this right here. Yeah, they're mid-tier. They're probably in the 70 range for passing defense. For run defense, be interesting here because they're actually below mid-tier in running defense, so they can't stop the run that great. I said it last week. Do I recall the run for a touchdown on 1st and goal? First time all year he had the tie motion out of the wide pre-snap to give the guy some extra space. He added a wrinkle. We didn't see. I know he's lying. He says that, we put in some wrinkles. Well, then you're not running the same. He did say we have to put in some wrinkles on the motion. I said, well, that means you change stuff. You change things if you put different guys in motion and change. Like, that's changing things. You can run the same play, but if you change the motions or whatever it is, you change the play. You changed the play. They told Pringle that he was starting on Thursday. You need a speed back. Pringle's got to be in the game. So, I don't know if y'all recall me saying last week, you cannot allow these teams to dictate to you what you run on offense. And literally, that's all Dawson's been doing for the past however many weeks. And you see, we threw the ball deep. Carson Beck completes passes down the field. Completed pretty much. He finished 13 to 13. Kid played fantastic. Like he played a great game. He completed everything. He made good throws down the field. He hit, I think there was one where if he had just gotten a split second more, he completes a deep ball. I forget. I think it was to Toney. I think it was to Toney. He just overthrew him by a little bit because he got a little bit hurried. But other than that, he hit one to Marion. He hit one to Moore. He hit deep balls. He hit nice passes downfield. Amazing what happens when you have a running back that makes the other team a little bit nervous because of the speed. But then on top of that, you actually allow your QB to throw the ball down the field. You stop allowing teams to dictate what you do. Stop allowing it. I'm sick of it. Stop allowing these teams to dictate what you do. So whether you throw the ball or run the ball against Virginia Tech, you better be doing a lot of. You need to throw the ball. Your team is built on throwing this football. I don't care what anyone says. They're not built on running the ball. They'll chalk that up to saying he wasn't ready yet. They will chalk that up. They will chalk that up to saying he wasn't ready yet. That's what they're going to do. That is what they would do. They would say he wasn't ready yet. We didn't start seeing this until week 5, week 6, week 7. We didn't see this until this point because he wasn't at that level. That's what they would say. They would say this about development. They would say that. That's how they get around it, and that's how they make excuses for themselves. That's what they do. And yeah, if you have a junior or a senior or whoever you have has been there and you want to keep that person, well, NIL is dictating it. You're right, Pinellas Kane. And NIL is a major factor. If anyone wants to jump on board, I'm gonna put the link right now in the description in the chat. If you want to jump on, hit the button. It'll be up. Give everyone a couple minutes to say your piece, then get off. Like we're gonna do it this quickly. We'll be on for like another 30, 40 minutes and be done for the evening. But this weekend we got the games that are on schedule. Obviously, USF losing does not help Miami. Miami is a 17.5 point favorite. Pretty much where I expected it to be, something like that. Ohio State plays Rutgers. Texas A&M again. Here comes the bullshit SEC Week 11 game. Texas A&M versus Samford. Oklahoma's playing Missouri. Let's go, Missouri. Let's go, Missouri. Let's go, Missouri. 12 noon start. ABC. I guess I'll be watching that at the same time as I'm watching the Hurricanes game. And I will be live doing a broadcast of the game, a live watch party. I cannot show the game on television. We'll be talking, chopping it up. If people aren't able to see it for whatever reason, I will be talking about it and giving my play-by-play and such and stuff like that. But our game is at 12 p.m. against Virginia Tech. It's on ESPN. YouTube TV finally got ESPN back. So they play at 12. Missouri plays at Oklahoma at 12. Hey, who knows? Oklahoma may have blown their wad against Alabama and comes back to earth a little bit, and all that stuff. Let's see. When you'll notice VT is the team that cannot pass the ball. Yeah. Yes. 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 Miami has to put people away in the first half. I mean, it's not hard. Okay, Louisville at SMU. That's at 12 noon as well. So that's on ESPN 2. I guess I'll have 3 games on at the same time. Charlotte at Georgia. Eastern Illinois at Alabama. Let's go, Eastern Illinois. Come on. South Florida at UAB. USC at Oregon. That's at 3:30. I would love to see USC go beat Oregon at Oregon because I don't see USC jumping us even by beating Oregon. But I see Oregon falling way the hell out because Oregon still doesn't have a win of substance. So I guess we're all going to be USC fans this weekend because Oregon winning would pretty much keep them in. Although they play Washington to close the season. USC's losses this year against Illinois and Notre Dame. We beat Notre Dame. You cannot forgive these things. You cannot ignore them. We beat Notre Dame. Committee, we beat Notre Dame. USC lost to Notre Dame. Head-to-head matchups matter. Their best win is against Iowa. They beat Michigan, I guess. Maybe that's their best. I don't think Michigan's that good. Somehow they're 8-2. That's like a miracle to me. Michigan's 8-2, and yet they have played their best win is against. They don't have a ranked win. Their best win is Washington. Their best win is 7-3 Washington. They beat Michigan State, who stinks. They beat Purdue, who stinks. They beat Northwestern, who stinks. They beat Nebraska, who stinks. Well, Nebraska's 7-3. They don't stink. They're just not that good. Central Michigan, yeah. Michigan's got no wins over anyone with a pulse for the most part. Let's see here. So yeah, we are looking for a USC win. Someone tried pulling this bullshit argument about USC getting into the Miami. Oh God, no! Not if we beat them and they lost Notre Dame. Oh God, anyone trying to sell that crap is on crack. Oregon's not that good. Oregon is not that good of a team. They are athletic, they're talented, but they ain't beat nobody this year. Syracuse at Notre Dame. We already know what's going to happen there. Arkansas at Texas. Kentucky at Vanderbilt. Hey, Kentucky, let's go, Kentucky. You put a beat down on Florida. Do us a favor. Go to Vandy and beat their ass. So we're Kentucky fans, right? We all on board. USC, Kentucky, Louisville. Who else am I cheering for? Eastern Illinois. Missouri. Shoot, let's see who else we got to cheer for. Michigan State at Iowa. Kansas State at Utah. Let's go, Kansas State. That's a 4 p.m. ESPN2 start. Kansas State. Let's go. Let's go win on the road at Utah. Hell, their quarterback is Avery Johnson. What happened to that kid? That kid was good. Michigan at Maryland. Pittsburgh at Georgia Tech. Let's go, Pittsburgh. See, we got games to worry about. We got games to watch. Tennessee at Florida. That game with Pittsburgh and Georgia Tech is at 7, by the way, on ESPN. Tennessee at Florida at 7:30 ABC. BYU and Cincinnati. BYU and Cincinnati. We want Cincinnati to win. This is at Cincinnati. It is an 8 p.m. start on Fox. In that conference right now, the way the conference is lined up, Cincinnati is currently 6th in the conference. They're 5-2. Texas Tech, I think, is pretty safe, right, to move forward. BYU with a loss would fall to 6-2, but they have a win over Utah. They did not play Houston, and they did not play Arizona State. Now, Cincinnati would have a win over them, so that would put them over BYU and Utah. Although they lost to Utah. They got crushed by, I don't know. Forget it. I don't know the play. I don't know what it is. All I know is if you beat BYU, BYU's out the damn picture. Unless they win the Big 12 championship. Then that's what it's going to be. So, yeah. Tech losing to BYU would cause... Tech losing to BYU would provide a very fucked up scenario? Which Tech? Well, you already know that the computers would be designed to screw the Hurricanes. They've always been designed that way. So BYU plays Cincinnati. We want. They lost to Texas Tech already. They got smacked. Oh yes. You need Tech to beat whoever it is. You need Tech to win You need Tech at this point to win the Big 12. They cannot lose. If they lose, that creates a problem because that will bump someone out. Heck, if they want to stick to if they want to go to being real, it should bump Texas Tech out too. Texas Tech should drop. If they lose in their conference championship game, this whole thing about you're losing the conference championship, you shouldn't get dropped out of the playoff. No. You should. You should get dropped because you played the game, you lost the game. We shouldn't ignore losses once they happen. Like that's preposterous. It's ridiculous. Makes no sense. But yeah, we're looking at Pitt. We need Cincinnati. Yeah, Texas, but make it simple. Texas Tech wins out. in the Big 12 and heck, if BYU loses this weekend, Utah, I mean, I cannot imagine Utah somehow squeezing into a playoff when they're not even going to make their conference championship game potentially. Either way, if Texas Tech wins out, Miami, I think it helps Miami a great deal. It helps Miami a great deal because if Utah doesn't make it or BYU gets in there at 11-1 but loses to Texas Tech, you're not telling me that BYU ranked 10th is not dropping out of the top 13. You know, you're right. They could possibly say that, but I think it'd be really hard pressed to have an 8th ranked team not drop out of the top 12. I mean, we've been surprised before. We've been surprised before. And let's see what else. But that's the schedule, man, for this weekend. If you want to jump on board and say your piece on the line, I'm happy to have you on. Here's the link. Yeah, the Vandy Utah thing is crazy to me. Tomorrow's big. Vandy didn't play yesterday or this past weekend. I don't think they did. Did they? I don't think they played this weekend. Did they? They beat Auburn. Yeah, they didn't play this past weekend. So they had a bye week. Utah did win big in their game against Baylor. But again, what the fuck is Baylor? What is Baylor? Who cares about Baylor? Hey, folks, while you're here, if you are interested, let me show you my merch line. If you like the merch, please do grab some merch from it. Support the channel. We got Hurricanes Unfiltered collection right here. I need to add some Scullies on there if I could find them in the system that I work with. But you can check out the yeah, they did, and then Miami jumped. But heck, Miami jumped Georgia Tech on the AP as well this week, off of a win. So it shows what the AP thought of Georgia Tech's lucky ass win. Like, think about that BC game. That fucking tight end drops a 2-point play. He drops a 2-point conversion in the back of the end zone. He's wide open. The ball's in his hands. He drops it. Just drops it. Just drops it. You're sitting here like, geez, Louise. And then they lose 36-34. You're like, yeah, that's how it had to go. That's how it had to go. You can expect nothing else. It's just the way it is sometimes, people. But I do want to win the rest of these games, man. I genuinely want to win these games. I'm not of that mindset of, oh, well, whatever. No, I want to win these games, man. I want to win. That's just who I am. I don't like the idea of losing these types of games. It sucks. I don't want to blow a game just because, we don't want to. Whatever happens, I don't want to go to a potential bowl game and say, we don't care. Because even if we don't make it to the playoffs by some flukish reason, we're going to play a top 15 team in a bowl game. Like, we're going to play someone really good in a bowl game, and you want to win that game, man. Yeah, you're going to be pissed, but you want to win that game. That shit matters. As we saw, it mattered this year, and it will matter next year. Mario Cristobal and his staff have got to show they can win a game against something that matters. That's not in September. We got to win a game that matters. That's not in September. By the way, James Franklin was hired at Virginia Tech today. Don't know if y'all saw that. So his buyout has been renegotiated. So now they're only paying him $9 million. He's going to make $40 million at Virginia Tech. I don't know how many years that is, but he's been hired at Virginia Tech. Been hired at Virginia Tech, so he will be their coach next season. I mean, some people might say that matters. I don't know if it matters. I don't really care. I don't really give a shit. Doesn't make a difference to me. Now it does say here on ESPN that Keontae Scott will likely miss the rest of the season. As I said, yeah, I knew that I knew that on Saturday. Yeah, it sucks. I don't know what happened to his foot, if he broke it or sprained it badly or what, tore something. I mean, for the sake of his draft status, I hope it's nothing tremendously serious. 11-2 is a great year. I'm not gonna Understand, people. There were people that thought this team would go 8-4, 9-3. To go 11-2, like when the season, I'm telling you right now, when the season started, why then just say he was missing one game? When did he say? Today he said that Keontae Scott's likely out for the rest of the season. Why? Because they hope and pray. They do that to hope and pray. They hope that a guy is better than he is, or they just lie. like they just lie. The Hurricanes have been lying. The Hurricanes have been lying about injuries for years. Years. They never tell the truth about injuries. They don't even tell you what the injury typically is. It's usually a lower extremity or an upper extremity, which, as you know, can be a lot of things. Either which way. They're never specific. That's on them. They can choose to do that. Yeah, I knew he was out for the year this last week. You know, maybe they saw after more tests. I don't know. I don't know what they saw. I don't know what they saw. I have no idea. I don't know. I have no idea. Yeah, you got to win, bro. We got to win. We got to win. If anything, yes, to exercise some of these demons. Absolutely. Absolutely. And then when you got, so Franklin's now going to be a coach at Vodtech. I don't know if that matters or not. I couldn't care less about that shit. It's news, but who gives a shit? I feel bad for Keontae Scott though. Like I really wish the kid gets help. I wish him health so that he's able to get ready for the draft. He's been a great player for us. Him and Jakobe Thomas. I mean, they changed our secondary this year. Like that's the one thing you can give Cristobal credit on is, man, he really like these DBs that he brought in have been good. They've been really good. They've been really good. You gotta tip your cap to that. But yeah, there were a lot of people at the beginning of the year. I can tell you right now who were telling me we don't even know what we got. We don't like our wide receiver situation is wide open. We have no idea. We have no idea what we got. And then we found out in week 1 what we got. And we found out who Malachi Toney was. But you wouldn't know that from fall practice because he's never played a game. So you would have no idea. But you would find out once he starts playing games. Now you've seen it. He's a gamer. There's the other guys out there. You don't know what they got. You didn't know. You didn't know what they had at wide receiver. You didn't know. You know what they got at tight end. They didn't have shit at tight end. Their tight end position sucks. They better find some tight ends, like some real ones, some dudes that are legitimate tight ends. Even at running back, you didn't know what you had because Fletcher's a good back. He's not a great back. Marty Brown's a transfer. You got glimpses of Jordan Lyle last year, but now you see who your best running back is. He's a freshman. So think about it. You got Girard Pringle coming back next year. You feel better, right? You got Malachi Toney coming back next year. You feel better, right? You got Josh Moore hopefully coming back next year. You feel better about that, right? I think Lyle getting hurt didn't help him. I think also the situation with the play calling also didn't help him. The portal QB is going to be CJ Bailey. The portal QB is going to be CJ Bailey. All the folks that are talking about, do I feel good about the D line next year? We'll see. I mean, we're going to lose Mesidor and Bain, but we'll see. We will see. I don't know yet. See who they get in the transfer portal. I think you got guys that are playing now, like like Lightfoot, Justin Scott, guys that are in the rotation right now. Moulton, I think, is a junior. Am I wrong about that? Let me check. Just verify this. Hoping you get the kid back who's the freshman who got hurt. Hayden, whatever his name is. Let's see. Yeah, you got Armando Blunt. You got Justin Scott. Oh, that's why I didn't see it. Okay. You got Hayden Lowe. He's a freshman. He's the one that got hurt this year. Expected to be a big time player. Lightfoot's looked good outside of this dumbass penalty against SMU. He's looked relatively good. Armando Blunt's a sophomore. You know, you're going to lose David Blay. You lose Rueben Bain. You lose Mesidor. Moulton's a junior. Booker Pickett's a freshman. He's gotten reps. I believe Dalen Russell's gotten reps. I'm not sure. Justin Scott's only a sophomore. Scroggins has gotten some reps. He's a freshman. Need guys to step up. And of course, they're going to bring in whoever they bring in off the portal. You know, so I'm not tremendously concerned about the defensive line. I also realize that we have a real defensive coach in Corey Hetherman. He's been absolutely fantastic. Even the losses, like I don't care. He's been fantastic. We should have won the SMU game. You hold someone to -2 rushing yards for 4 quarters. You're supposed to win that game. I don't care if you gave him 500 yards passing. You hold someone to -2 yards rushing. You win that game. Let's see. But there's not like they're yeah, they gotta find some linebackers to replace Bissainthe and replace Motere. Aguirre is a junior. I think the bigger questions are at linebacker. Chase Smith is a senior. Bobby Washington is a sophomore. Yeah, I think the questions need to be answered at linebacker. The DB room is still solid. I mean, they're going to bring in probably a couple more guys, but Lucas will be back. Frederic will be back. Bryce Fitzgerald will be back. Ethan O'Connor will be back. Dylan Day will be back. You're going to have a bunch of guys back that, you know, and I do think they'll bring in a couple of senior level dudes that can come in and be impact players. So we have to find another kicker. Carter Davis will be done, so we need to find another kicker. We bring back the punter, Dylan Joyce, although I'm not a fan. See what we find a kicker. They're going to bring in a transfer. They're going to bring in a transfer. Emory Williams will be in the portal. He will not be back here. Luke Nickel, hell, he might be in the portal too. Don't be shocked. But Emory Williams is in the portal. There's like no doubt about it. The fact that they actually brought Luke Nickel in the game on Saturday should tell you what you need to know about that. They needed to see Luke Nickel play. Even if it was just for 5 minutes. They needed to see this kid play. They needed to get him some reps. They got Emory Williams his little Fugazi reps. Yeah. But yeah, CJ Bailey is going to be their quarterback more than likely. I mean, CJ Bailey is going to be their quarterback. You know what I find okay, I mean, maybe he does come back. But the problem is you can't keep him as the backup. There'll be people that would want Emory Williams. Well, you got to go for Bailey because he'll be a junior. You can get him for 2 years. You can get him for 2 years. I mean, could he leave after 1 and go to the draft? Sure. Do I think he does? Probably not. Emory Williams, are you going to keep him as your backup and not have a real backup? Like that's the problem. I wouldn't keep him as my backup. Who wants Emory? I mean, there'll be plenty of lower Division I schools that would want him. Heck, there could be schools in the ACC that would want him. There's Power 5 schools that would probably take him. But there's definitely Division I programs that would take him in a second. Bailey is not ass. Bailey looked like ass against us because we kicked his ass. Give credit to the defense that made him look like ass. You want Lenora Sellers? He's fucking awful. He's terrible. He's terrible. Bailey threw for 350 against Georgia Tech. Sellers is a moron. Sellers has no football IQ. If you watch that Bama game, you saw, sorry, the A&M game, you saw that guy's got literally zero football IQ. He's dumb. Like, he's dumb. He's not good. See, the thing is, you don't have to be impressed with what you saw against us. He's been really good all year. Go look at Bailey. Remember, if you watch my preview video, if you watch the preview video, you heard what I said. You had to stop the run. If you stop the run, those are the games in which Bailey struggles. Those are the games in which Bailey struggles. Notre Dame, Virginia Tech, they stopped the run. What did we do? We stopped the run. And I think Jalen Milroe sucks, by the way. I thought Jalen Milroe was terrible. Do I think Sellers? I think Sellers is a moron. He's an idiot. He doesn't understand football. His IQ is shit. I would never want Lenora Sellers on my team. I wouldn't want him. Not for a second. If I have to cheer for him because he's here, then I'll cheer for him. Will I be happy about it? No, not at all. I would not be happy about it. No. I would never be happy about that. It's football, bro. You'll get turnovers. That's football. He's playing at NC State. He had 19 touchdowns and 7 picks going into the game. He was a top 12 in QBR in the nation. We got turnovers. People commit turnovers. Like, let's stop acting like turnovers is what caused people to always lose all these games. We lost games for a lot more reasons than the interceptions. I'm telling you right now. We had a chance to win the game despite them. We've had our running attack stuffed for week after week. We've had our running game stuffed because we run the ball into the back of a wall with slow, methodical backs who can't run. You look at guys like Julian Sain up in Ohio State. I watched him play. He's okay. You think Fernando Mendoza is something that's so great? He's okay. He was put in the right situation. He was a 6-6 quarterback at freaking Cal. He was 6-6. Put him in the right situation. And he damn near lost the game to Penn State. Oh, I can't help you if you don't trust the staff to develop him further. I can't help you there. It's about the talent around him that will help him develop, not the coaches. The coaches won't help him develop. The players and the talent around him will make him look better. Well, I don't think it. The Hurricanes did pretty damn good with Cam Ward, I think. Yeah, Skull Leader. I mentioned that a few minutes ago that Vatek hired James Franklin. Yeah. But Bailey is better than Emory Williams. Bailey is better than everybody on the roster they have right now. He's got 2 years of experience. He's got 2 years left of eligibility. He's from here. It might be the only thing that keeps JoJo Trader in town. Not that might not matter to some people. It should matter. Beyond him, I don't know the options. I don't know what's available. You know who might be looking to go somewhere? The kid at Cal. The kid at Cal might be looking for an out. He's good. He's a good player. Epinephrine, that wasn't the talent. That's the coaching. That's the play calling. I don't think Beck's elbow was 100% until not too long ago. Yeah, Miami's defense is elite. What's up with Sellers? He's not an intelligent player. He makes a lot of dumb decisions. He made them against Texas A&M. He took 2 sacks in the end of that game. He took 2 sacks basically to end that game. I mean, his pocket awareness stinks. His pocket awareness sucks. Like, he's not good. His game completely regressed from last year to this year. He got worse. Bailey got a lot better from one year to the next. Lenora Sellers got worse from one year to the next. Let's see what else we got here. I mean, let me look at the quarterbacks in the. Let's look at the quarterbacks in the ACC. So the quarterback, what's his name out of Cal? This kid, I forgot his. I mean, he's a Samoan kid or a Polynesian kid. Girard Kiwi Saga Polatet, whatever. He's thrown for 2,518 yards, 61.5. He has thrown 9 picks, 13 touchdowns, 9 picks. Just letting you know that. I know y'all are into this thing about the interceptions, and he's good. He's a good player. I've watched this kid play a bunch of times. He's a good player. And he's a freshman on top of that. He'll probably be looking to get the fuck out of there. Now, look at the kid that's at Maryland. I don't know if this kid wants to transfer, but I think that there's a possibility. Who the hell wants to play at Maryland for 4 years? Like, who wants to play at Maryland for 4 years? Malik Washington this year has got for 2,297, 13 touchdowns, 7 picks. He's one of the top freshman quarterbacks in the country. I mean, they're 4-6, but again, it's Maryland. It's Maryland, and he was actually a highly rated recruit coming out of high school, as far as I know. I think he was the top player in Maryland, and he stayed at home. He's a dual threat quarterback. He was a 4-star QB, 134th in the class, so top 150 prospect. He had offers from Tech, UCF, Syracuse, Nebraska, Arkansas, Boston College, Charlotte, Colorado, Duke, Illinois, James Madison, Marshall, Oregon, Penn State, Rutgers, Temple, Texas A&M, Toledo, Virginia, and West Virginia. Those are the offers he had. You don't develop guys on the field. You don't develop quarterbacks on the field. You develop quarterbacks through people who want to learn and grow. But the problem that exists in today's college football landscape is that the guys that you want don't want to learn and grow. They want to go to the fastest place that gets them on the field, and then they transfer. That's what's happening right now. I mean, I grew up in a generation of Miami Hurricanes football. By the way, I got the lines open. People are still interested. I mean, if anyone's interested, feel free. If you got some comments you want to make, here's the link. Like I said, the phone lines are open today. It's completely up to you. Otherwise, I can keep talking. The football I grew up to was Jim Kelly to Bernie Kosar, to Vinny Testaverde, Steve Walsh, Craig Erickson. What up, Heart of Sports? Some Steve Walsh to Craig Erickson to Gino Torretta, and so forth. I mean, and then it was like that combination of Brian Collins, Frank Costa, whatever. After that, and then it was Ryan Clement, Scott Covington. But the years in the 80s where it was like the guy played for 2 years, and the guy behind him was waiting in line. But by that point, that guy had gotten reps like crazy in blowout time. Well, the problem that exists now is there aren't a lot of blowouts that are happening. We haven't had blowouts to get guys real reps in games. So when you don't have these games blown out, and then at the same time you have to have points of looking impressive, because we're not ranked high enough to win games 31-17 against bad teams. Well, and heck, we did play Emory Williams, I think, in a couple of games. Yeah, but those guys were prepared. But on top of that, the selfish mentality of college football players today is also a problem. The selfish mentality of the college football player today is a generation of it's me, 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 and it's I need it now. I want it. I want it now. Well, that's not how you develop. That's not how you get better. It's that or go to a lower level Division One school, and then you get better there. You grow there, and then you transfer. And that's what's happening now. Is they're all transferring. They all want immediate playing time. They all want it now. I mean, Ty Simpson at Alabama is a anomaly of today. But now you take a look at Ty Simpson, you're like, it's funny. He starts the season off getting his ass kicked by Florida State. Then all of a sudden they act like this guy is some superb quarterback. He's not. They had him as a Heisman favorite. He's not. Yeah, I remember when they had Kenny Kelly with Ken Dorsey on the bench, and it was like, yo, Kenny Kelly, if you want to go play baseball in the summertime, don't bother coming back. They literally told Kenny Kelly that. If you want to go play baseball, Ken Dorsey's the starter. We should send Kenny Kelly thank you cards for going to play baseball. Because that decision to go play baseball changed the dynamic and the trajectory at the time of the Hurricanes football program. We would never have won a national championship with Kenny Kelly playing quarterback. Never. He wasn't good enough. He didn't have it here either. He didn't have it here. He had too much shit going on. Make money playing baseball, but you're not there for summer workouts. You're not there for summer workouts. So you know what? You can go play baseball, and we'll put our quarterback in there who wants to be a champion. And he's the greatest quarterback we've ever had at University of Miami up until Cam Ward. Well, he's the greatest ever in terms of record. He's the winningest quarterback in school history. So I hope I didn't freeze up here. Oh, sorry about that. I don't know. I mean, I'm going to be real. I don't know anything about Coleman. I'm not into recruiting, like that. That's why I don't do a whole lot of recruiting videos because glazing a bunch of 16, 17, 18-year-old kids in high school. That's why I stopped covering this stuff for a while because I wasn't going to be beholden to 18-year-olds lying to me in their recruitment process. I saw him play against American Heritage last year. He's good. He's good. I don't know why my computer keeps on freezing. He's a good player, but he's a 5'10" quarterback. Yeah, I have concerns about that. Well, I don't make a living off it. I didn't make a living off of it. Well, Mario Cristobal does. He makes a living off banking off of kids, banking on kids. But asking recruiting questions and having them tell 3 different stories of 3 different freaking media outlets, and heck, they all might be a lie at the same time. Oh God. Oh goodness, I couldn't stomach it. I mean, he's talented. He's athletic. Is he a college quarterback? The hell, how do you spell his damn name? Oh, it's Darion. That's right. He's 6 foot tall, 165 pounds. That means he's probably 5'10", and he probably weighs 150. I mean, you could reasonably put Malachi Toney at quarterback. He did beat that dude last year in the state championship. He did beat him. But you'd be taking away Malachi Toney's ability to have a future. He needs to play wide receiver. But yeah, that Kenny Kelly, Ken Dorsey thing was big in the history of the Hurricanes football program. But let me look at that. Like I was looking at some rosters here. I mean, we could. I don't think that guy's gonna go anywhere. The Cal quarterback is one that I think will take off and go somewhere. I don't know any of the quarterbacks that come to my brain that I think would leave their schools. The Maryland kid could leave potentially. The Michigan kid ain't going anywhere. The Oregon kid's going back to Oregon. If y'all can think of any, please put them in the comments, man. Put them in the comments. Love to hear if you got any quarterbacks in your mind. Heck, I wonder if Arch Manning goes back to Texas next year. To be honest, I'm surprised they haven't run that dude out of Texas by now. I think DJ Lagway. Well, I think DJ Lagway probably leaves Florida. I think he probably leaves Florida. I'd be surprised if he went back to Florida. That place is a dumpster fire. Yeah, but Ty Simpson. Remember, Ty Simpson loses to Florida State, and then he's so good. No, he's not. No, he's not. Would I take DJ Lagway? God, he's a dummy too, bro. That'll be hard. I mean, the last Florida QB we took, I thought did pretty damn good, Brock Berlin. But Lagway's just dumb. The mistakes that he makes are dumb. They're not ability mistakes. They're dumb mistakes. They're dumb. So Ty Simpson's thrown for 2,787 yards, 66.9 completion. And now he has 2 interceptions. But you watch him play. Every game they've played has been a grind. I mean, Ty Simpson game log, if you look at his game by game, I mean, 254, 226. He went for 382 against Wisconsin, 276 against Georgia, 340 versus Vandy, 200 versus Missouri, 253 against Tennessee, 253 versus South Carolina, 277 against LSU, and 326 against OU. You know, he's okay. He's okay. I don't think he's all that good. I don't know what the deal is with. I don't know what the deal is with DJ Lagway. I don't know why this crap keeps on freezing. I apologize for the choppiness of the video because I don't know what's happening. It's like my computer's telling me it's time to go. The Miami Heat won 115, 113. Nice. Nice. Wow. But hey, the North Texas QB, I mean, they're a good team. They're doing well. So I don't know anything about them, but they're doing well. And that's important. I'm a Heat fan, so yes, fuck the Knicks. Don't worry about that. But anyhow, we play this Saturday, 12 noon, Vatech. We should absolutely maul these guys. We got to come out and play the exact same way we played against NC State. Come with an attitude and come to dominate and do your job. It's that simple. It's that simple. Come do your job. But that's about it for this evening, man. I appreciate everyone jumping on board. Sorry that no one wanted to jump online and give their 2 cents, but we will be back here next Monday night, 9 p.m. Eastern time. Please be sure to share and let people know about this. And if you know people that are interested in the Hurricanes, share it on your social medias and stuff like that. I appreciate that. Get the word out. Leave comments on the videos that I do produce because those definitely help the growth and through the algorithm of YouTube. The comments and likes are so vital to videos getting circulated more. I'm trying to truly grow the Hurricane content to be the best Hurricane content out there. But yeah, that's we got Saturday. Saturday we will be doing our live broadcast, our live watch party. I know some of y'all may go to other channels, but if you want to drop by, come on by. I appreciate it. But yeah, jump on board 12 noon. We will be on board from just before the game starts until the game ends, probably 3:30, 3:45. I don't know why my shit is freezing up, man. This is really its way of telling me to stop. It's like my computer is completely frozen. Sorry about that, people. I don't know. I'm gonna have to turn the computer on and off. But yeah, that's gonna do it for tonight. We'll be here on Saturday, 12 noon. throughout the game, and we'll do a post game reaction as well. So a live post game reaction. We'll open up the lines for people to talk, get their points across. But again, appreciate everyone jumping on board. This is Hurricanes Unfiltered, powered by Come On Now, the podcast. Come on now.